Hello and welcome to PCMag Live. I'm Dan Costa, he is Sascha Segan, and we have a great show for you today. We're going to talk about the latest tech news, we're going to answer some of your reader questions, and then we're going to pull one cool thing off the shelf in the lab and show it to you live on air. Let's start with the biggest tech news of the day. The PlayStation 4 has been on sale for 3 days. They've sold 1 million units.
1 million units.
But there are these stories about defective units, and some of them are not working properly. We've got an estimate for how many units those are. Sony estimates 4,000 out of 1 million units are buggy and have problems. They're pretty happy with those numbers. I'd be pretty happy with those numbers too.
Yeah,
as long as I don't get one of the 4,000.
Yeah, I mean, in today's world of imperfect technology, where everyone is being asked to beta test things at retail, basically, where things go, planned obsolescence within a few years, 4,000 out of 1 million defective units is a pretty decent number, as long as Sony replaces these quickly. I mean, this is one of these situations where it comes down to customer service. And if Sony says, okay, it's busted, we'll ship you out another one overnight, that's what really matters.
Yeah, and that will endear them to their fan base. The Xbox One is also on sale. That hasn't. We're anticipating it's going to also sell very, very well. But Sony thinks they're going to get about 3 million units by the end of the year sold into the channel just in the U.S. That sounds like a pretty big success.
And now it's funny that, people have been saying, various tech digerati say that, oh, the console is dead, oh, everything's moving to mobile, oh, whatever, nonsense. Okay, you look at these sales numbers, and there were 1 million PS4s sold in the first couple of days. Sony anticipates 3 million by the end of the year. That kills the numbers of the PS3. Okay, the PS3 only sold 197,000 in the first 2 weeks. The Xbox 360 sold 2.5 million in its first 3 months, and we're anticipating significantly more of those. It's not that mobile games or PC games are killing console games. It's that the whole pie is getting bigger. More people are gaming on more platforms.
It's additive. It's not just it's not substituting for it. Let's talk about a product that is not going to sell 1 million units in 3 days.
They don't have 1 million units.
And that's the Qualcomm Toq, which was announced a couple of months ago. And we thought that it was going to come to market. Then they said they weren't going to take it to market. But it turns out it will be available for purchase on 12/2 for $349. This is Qualcomm's smartwatch. Sascha, I thought that this wasn't actually going to come to the market, that it was just a demo for developers.
Well, it's coming to the market the way some other developer products come to market, like the way we saw those Firefox phones pop up on eBay for developers. There's a definite advantage for these companies in retailing their dev units, getting them out into as many people's hands as possible. I think Qualcomm's only made about 10,000 of these. So they're going to get the 10,000 of them out there and see how many ideas that creates, and see whether that creates a community and some fervor around this Mirasol-based smartwatch. Which
very similar to what Google's done with Google Glass, where
totally
they seed
like
the
Google
system,
Glass.
a bunch of developers, some average people,
yeah,
and then they see what they can get going, what kind of applications can be developed.
Possibly less douchey.
Possibly.
I'm gonna try to figure that out. We'll get in a Qualcomm Toq, and we'll really kind of try to assess the douchiness level of this wearable device.
We've got to round up those technologies. We've got to round up the technologies that make you look like the biggest douche.
Yeah.
And maybe even provide some crowdsourcing in there. We'll get on that. We'll do that in a later show.
But the Toq doesn't look so bad, and I really like Mirasol, the screen technology they use. I've been a cheerleader for this technology for years. It's low power, colorful, looks like it could really have a future.
Okay. All right, let's move into another topic. If you've been logged into YouTube recently, you've noticed that Google has changed their YouTube login practices. In order to leave comments on YouTube videos, you have to log into your Google Plus account. This has developed into something of a controversy. There are now 179,000 supporters of a petition to get Google to replace this strategy with YouTube's old commenting strategy, which used to be pretty much the Wild West. It was completely anonymous. This is pretty nakedly a transparent way for Google to get more people to use Google Plus. But there's some other benefits to forcing this login. You're actually bucking the trend, and you actually think this is a good idea for YouTube commenting.
What happened is that this is a basically good idea which Google has mismanaged. And that doesn't mean that they can't fix it. And I hope they fix it and they keep the login situation. Because what happened is, so they made people log into Google Plus to comment on YouTube, but they have absolutely no filtering whatsoever, and they're allowing unlimited length comments, and they're allowing hyperlinks, and they're allowing weird ASCII art, and so as a result, the comments are full of spam and weirdness. Okay. And this is just a question of, so you do some automated filtering and everything goes, everything gets better. The ultimate point here, though, is that the YouTube comment section was the worst place on the non-dark web.
It was the worst place on the internet.
No, there are far worse places on the internet, okay? And I'm sure you viewers know some much worse places on the internet. But in terms
Sascha will send you some links if you email.
I'll post some links in my YouTube comments with, ASCII art of a tank. But in terms of the sort of big websites where the creators of the websites are saying, this is for everyone, this is for families, this is for the universe, everybody should use this, the comment section was a sinkhole. And that really needed to be fixed. There really needed to be some locking down of those bad comments. And Google should get its act together, filter this a little better, and hopefully they can generate a higher quality community.
All right. That's news for today. Let's move on to a reader question. Our question today from Sean is, Sascha, what are the worst places on the internet? No, that is not our question. Our question is actually, does greater market, it's about phone technology, and does greater market share mean a product is better? What does market share mean to technology and to our reviews? It sounds like somebody's got a little bit of an axe to grind here, and I think I know what platform they're talking about.
This comes from Sean, who is one of our top commenters on the PCMag website, and he is a very strong and very intelligent proponent of Windows Phone. And he has criticized us in the past for not, in his view, taking Windows Phone seriously enough because he thinks it doesn't have enough market share, or we think it doesn't have enough market share. But what it comes down to for me is that computing experiences, Steve Ballmer said developers. And computing experiences aren't just what comes out of the box. They are very often social. They are very often about the things you see advertised around you, these ads for apps and experiences. They're about the experiences and apps that your friends say they're using, that your coworkers say they're using. And if your platform doesn't have that stuff, then you're the kid left out at the party. Right. And you can't do these popular things that other people can do. And it doesn't matter if you can do things that they can't do because they can't share in your experience because you have this tiny minority experience. So the question becomes, at what point does market share break through so that it's viable? And I think we're starting to see that with Windows Phone now.
Although, I got to say, to be fair, it's not like we haven't been covering Windows Phone. We've tested every major Windows Phone on the market. We have dedicated feature stories, how-to stories, tip stories. Ultimately, though, when we make recommendations, you have to factor in the fact that Windows Phone has not had the application support that iOS has had or that Android has had.
But it's coming, and it's starting to snowball. And I think especially, I'm hoping with this Xbox launch, that's going to have some Windows Phone announcements with it as well. And I think Windows Phone really does have a future, and it's growing. But I have to look at, can I recommend this to someone, and will they be able to be part of the conversation that all of their friends and family and coworkers are in? And that conversation is very frequently around apps.
Very good. And actually, I think we should move on to one cool thing because Sean might be interested in our one cool thing. We test thousands of products here in the labs every year. Every day we pull one thing off the shelf and show it to you live on air. Today, that one cool thing is, totally coincidentally, a Windows Phone. And this is the latest Windows Phone from Nokia, the Nokia Lumia 1520. It's $200 from AT&T, and it is freaking huge.
Whoa! Okay,
I would almost hesitate to even call this a phone. I mean, this definitely has reached phablet status.
Yes. This is definitely a full-fledged phablet here. It's got a 1080p screen, quad-core processor. It's gorgeous. It has this really nice, sleek color, 20-megapixel camera. The camera, I've been taking pictures with it for the past couple of days. The images are terrific. My review will go up probably tomorrow. And it's a great experience. On the other hand, what I'm just struggling with is it's huge.
It's enormous.
And it is incompatible with my body, okay? It's incompatible with my hands.
I think you can actually buy an adapter at Best Buy that would make that more compatible.
Yeah, it's incompatible with my pants pockets. I can barely fit it into my jacket pocket. I have to fish around in my jacket. And this isn't a commentary on Windows Phone or on Nokia, but on these 6-inch devices in general. And I really struggle to figure out, where things this size fit into the lifestyle.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, and this is the thing, we actually feel very similarly about these giant phablets. At the same time, if you look at the market and how the market's responding to them, this would go head to head with the Galaxy Note 3, which is a phenomenally successful product, very popular product worldwide, not just in the US, but all over the globe. I mean, there seems to be all sorts of demand, and there are plenty of people out there saying Apple, in order to be successful, needs to build a device this size. And it is because of all this consumer demand for it.
Well, and I think if Apple comes up with a phablet, in terms of build quality, this is who they're going to be competing with, because Nokia puts together hardware like nobody's business.
Yeah, very cool. We'll be looking forward to Sascha's full review on PCMag.com tomorrow. That is PCMag Live for today. We encourage you to send us your reader questions on Facebook via email. We will read them on air. Who knows, we may even do more Windows Phone coverage because you suggest it. Thanks for joining us. Please tune in tomorrow.